Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Have a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm not important, just a question asker. My name is Raheen Ajme out of Atlanta here, but we have Badger with us. Badger, good morning. Tell everybody where you're from there, Badger.
Northeast Texas, unfortunately.
Northeast, there's some good things about Northeast Texas. There might be some things you don't like about it, but I'm sure there's some good things about it as well.
Fishing until the gators show up.
Yeah, they take your fish, brother. Them jokers will take your fish, and
So will the snakes.
ain't nothing you. Yeah, I've had experiences with that too. Yeah, but I keep my fish in a basket, so I keep them in the water, keep them fresh. And yeah, turtles, snakes, and gators will take your fish if you're not
Or an
careful.
alligator snapper that's as big as a freaking hiking bag.
Exactly.
Have you ever hooked into one of those? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
I
God,
did. I cut my line immediately, man. I don't even fool with them. I cut my
I had
line. We do
60
my line.
pound spider wire and I pulled one
Mm-hmm,
up to the shore and looked how big it was and went, nope.
mm-hmm. People eat them though. People do eat them. I can't.
Mm-mm.
I can't do it. I can and I won't do it. Badger, let me ask you a question. Would you and these two things that I'm gonna ask you, they kind of go hand in hand, but I want you to be able to, I want you to separate them for me for the sake of the question.
Ugh.
Would you rather have someone to love you or to sacrifice for you?
Oh,
And
I
I have
don't know how to
and,
answer that. You broke
and
me.
I have him thinking. And I have him thinking.
No, you broke me.
Huh?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people might not like what I'm about to say, but
Mm-hmm.
it's an unfortunate struggle that I have. Um, I am just now learning how to receive that
Mm-hmm.
because I grew up not really having
Mm-hmm.
experiencing anyone do that for me.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife would probably come the closest.
Yeah, that's good. And I say that's good because it's good to have somebody and to have the experience to know that someone both love you enough to see, and that's why I say it's real difficult because if a person truly love you, they're willing to sacrifice for you. And but some people want to separate the two and say, well, I want somebody to love me. I want somebody to love me. I want some. That's good. They can love you, but will they sacrifice for you? If there's um as simple as I could put this thing, man. If there's a one piece of chicken left on the table, one piece of chicken left on, all y'all have eaten, but you're still a little hungry. But there's one piece of chicken on that table. Will that person sacrifice say you can have that piece of chicken? Go ahead, eat it. You can have it. You can have it.
Oh, I do that all
And,
the
and,
time.
I do too. I do too. But my thing is that's something that it is very simplistic. It's very simple. The example that I gave, but at the same time, it's still a sacrifice. If somebody bombarded the house and said, okay, one of y'all gonna die, one of y'all gonna die right now, would would that person step forward and say, okay, go ahead, take me, leave them alone?
My wife wouldn't even get a chance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But see, that's what you say. But the question is, would you rather someone to love you? And even if she did that with me, and I know you feel pretty much the same way, if my wife would have stepped forward and say no, I said no, baby, no, hold on, you go, I got this. You gonna have a seat. You all right? And I present myself right there. Okay, you got to take somebody. Here I am. But my thing is, would you rather have someone to love you, say they love you, or sacrifice for you? And I want people to give me a call on this one here. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Tell us what you think about this. And I know they pretty much pretty much go hand in hand, because if a person's not gonna sacrifice for you if they don't love you. I understand that part. But would you rather have somebody to love you, or would you rather have somebody that be to the point where they will sacrifice for you? Because a person can love you without sacrificing for you. A person can't love you without sacrificing for you. What's on your
Yeah,
heart, back?
that would feel weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want, to be honest, I don't want anyone to sacrifice themselves for me.
Mm-hmm. Well,
That's just,
you may not want it, but to me, it will make you feel good to know that, even though you won't let them do it or you won't allow them to do that, but they will be willing to do it. They care enough for you, love you enough, and have that much compassion in their heart for you that they will be willing to do it. That's the part I'm talking about. That's what I'm really
hmm,
getting at.
man, I wonder how many people probably don't even know what that feels like.
There may be a whole lot, maybe more than what you can imagine. There may be people walking around right now, Badger, that has never experienced that, or that type of love, that the person loved them to the point. And unfortunately, there's a lot of kids that's walking around here with parents that don't know what that feels like, because their parents will not sacrifice. You got to get it like you get it too, and they have that idea. I want to live too. But see, my thing is this right here. My thing is this right here.
Mhm.
I would die for any one of them. I got 4 daughters, man, 4 beautiful daughters. Love them dearly, man, and would die for any one of them any day of the week. Any day of the week.
I
Any day.
have something kind of messed up to share,
What's
if
that?
that's okay.
Go
I
ahead, brother.
remember there was an incident when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom took me and my sister to a gathering,
Mm-hmm.
and someone pulled out a gun, and she put me out in front of them.
Wow.
Um, that so when you're asking me that question, I'm sitting there going, "Wow, the amount of people that's done that to me, including
Mm-hmm.
my own mother."
Mm.
So, uh, to me, I grew up always being the one that everyone stood behind,
Mm-hmm.
be it by
Wow.
choice, by my own choice or not.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I don't want anyone to feel that way,
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather do it. I just do it. It's second nature to me now.
So basically, you say, instead of letting somebody else put you in harm's way, you put yourself in harm's way,
Yep,
because that's what you expect for them anyway.
pretty much.
Wow. 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 Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, I can't complain, man. I'm just happy to see another beautiful new day.
Yes,
What's
sir.
going on
Hey,
with y'all, man?
hey, doing good, doing good. Hey, that storm coming in, brother.
Yeah, it's trying to come on through here, but it ain't. We don't been through them before.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Rico, asking a question, man, and it's a very simple yet very complicated question. And there's a lot of similarities in what I'm asking, but I want you to, for the sake of the question, to separate them, because I do know that if a person really love you, they're going to sacrifice for you. But I'm asking the question like this: would you rather have someone to love you, or would you rather have someone to sacrifice for you? Which one would you rather have?
Uh, I would say I would rather have someone sacrifice for me,
Mm-hmm.
because if it's a situation that's beyond my control that they can get me out of, and they have a choice of saying, well, you know what, man, I ain't gonna bother with getting my nose in that business. Or I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to get involved in it because I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
have to deal with the consequences. It's the prime example of as if sometimes you have police officers or teachers or administrators that can interfere in a situation where they'll know a child is being abused, but the first thing they say is, well, I didn't want to get the child taken from the mother. I didn't want to tear up that household. I remember it was a little girl that was killed by her mother and her boyfriend.
Wow.
I think her name was Anaya Day in
Yeah,
Ohio.
yeah.
And that father had videos of what the little girl was saying she wanted to stay with him, and he was trying his best to get her, and he was crying, and she got killed. And then they interviewed the preschool teachers. I saw bruises on her and signs that she was abused, but I didn't want to say nothing. I think it was in Florida. It was a white woman that had her daughter coming to school like 4 or 5 days in a row with the same clothes on, soiled with like excrement and urine, and then on top of this being dirt. After about the 4th day, something happened to the little girl, and then that's when they want to bring up the issues of what they had been witnessed a few days before then, where she had been wearing the same clothes. And I'm like, well, why didn't you step up?
Yeah.
You know, when you see something, do something. Don't just wait. You know, when you see a situation going on next door, and you know beyond a shadow of a doubt, this man is molesting his daughter, or molesting this woman's daughter or son.
Yeah.
You do something. You don't just sit back and I'm gonna mind my business. So I mean, yeah, I would rather somebody sacrifice for me than love me, because sacrifice to me is the ultimate show of love and courage.
Good deal. Captain, good morning. And you're absolutely right. It really is. It really is. And that's why I say, you know, the question, a lot of people going to have an issue with separating the question, but there is a separation there, because a person can really love you without sacrificing for you. They can love you without sacrificing for you. And so, Captain, good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Fine. Thank you for asking. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir. Captain, asking a question, and I want to hear your heart on this. Would you rather have a person to love you or to sacrifice for you? Because and a lot of, I know that sometimes people say, well, you know, how can a person love sacrifice for you if they don't love you? There is a separation there. And so I want to know from you, what would you rather have? Someone to love you, say they love you, or whatever the case, or sacrifice for you?
Wow, that's a kind of difficult for me to answer, because I thought love represents sacrifice. But I mean, it's either or. I most certainly would like for people to love you. If you love someone, you're willing to sacrifice. At least that's how I see.
Is that all and like I said earlier, is that always the case? Because somebody can say they love you, and some parents can say I love my kids, but I'm not gonna sacrifice A, B, C, or D for my kids. And so, like I say, if somebody get in trouble or something like that, and the police about to come and get somebody, some parents will say, well, you did it. I'm not going to jail because you did. But other parents will say, look here, I'm willing to sacrifice myself so my child don't have to go through that experience of going to prison and doing everything that prison life endures or entails. And so that's a sacrifice. But some parents won't do it though. Some parents say, well, you did it, you committed a crime. I love you, but I ain't going to jail for you. And so, that's, to me, they love, I'm sure, I hope they love their children, but they're just not willing to sacrifice for their children in that way.
Well, I hear you. I think that there's no question there are some parents who's willing to take a bullet, who's willing to take one for the team, for their child. I think that is the commitment and the depths of any parent's love. I mean, you don't want to see your child suffer. If you see a situation that you could take the rap, as they call it, for your child, and you do the time versus your child. There are parents that's like that. I know. If you did all you could to give them good advice, and they chose not to take that advice, and then the consequences of them rejecting your advice, they find themselves into a situation. Then they want someone to. Then it's hard for a parent to sacrifice their life, their time, their money, their wealth for a child or any individual that they have give them great advice, and they ignored that great advice. So it's as they say, six one way, half a dozen the other.
Wow. That's good. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
I think about the fact that in some cases, some people don't know what love is. So if you choose to love under the way that they feel love is, you might not, get love the way it should be, because they don't know what love really is. And then I think about what if you have to make a choice about your love between right and wrong, or your love of God and your child? Your child might do a crime, and you say, well, you know what? Family come first. I don't care what nobody say. I'm always going to stick up for my brother. That's still my sister. You hear people say that. So they ain't going to sacrifice that child. They're going to protect them and hide them out. I think I was looking at an episode of First 48 last night, and that was a situation. Somebody in the family hiding out and protecting people that they felt like might get in trouble. But then in other cases, the love of God puts the love of righteousness before everything. And they're going to say, well, you know what? I love you, son, but you did wrong. And I can't tolerate that. So I'm going to call these police, and they come to get you, and you're going to answer for your crime. So, I mean, what is your definition of love? And who do you love?
Exactly.
What are you willing to sacrifice? But I do feel like the ultimate sacrifice, is the ultimate show of love. When you sacrifice for somebody, and that don't mean sacrifice them. That means sacrifice something that you benefit. You give up something that you cherish. Because me donating or giving something away to somebody else cherish, but it doesn't hurt me, I'm sacrificing them still. But if it benefits me, that's an ultimate sacrifice. If I decide to say, you know what, even though I might want that, or even though I might need this, I'll let you have it because you need it a little bit more.
Rico, that's powerful, man, because what came to mind when you were saying that about if a family only have one car, and both of y'all got to go to work, you got to go to work, your wife got to go to work, and you say, you know what, baby, I don't want you to have to worry about that bus and get on that bus, having to deal with the people on the bus every day. You drive the car. You go ahead and drive the car. You go to work. I get on the bus. I take 3 or 4 different buses, maybe jump on a train or something like that to get to work, then do the same thing coming home, because I'm willing to sacrifice that car or that convenience. I'm willing to sacrifice that convenience so you could be more convenient. And even if it inconveniences me, that's what I think that's the part that I'm talking about right there. And that's real simple. That's a real simple example, but it is a sacrifice. It is because some do say, man, look at here, I got to get to work just like you got to get to work. You better get on that bus. I'm gonna drive that car. I got to go further than you. It doesn't matter.
I'd rather see my check than your check.
You know what I mean? And so that like I said, that's a real small example, but it's an example all the same. If you love somebody, you're willing to sacrifice for that person, and even if it harms you in some kind of way, you're willing to take that. You're willing to take that punch, take that blow. You'll take that blow because you love them that much. Ibrahim, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, family.
Good morning, sir. How you doing? Walaikum assalam. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're talking about sacrifice, Ibrahim. Would you rather, and I know love and sacrifice, like it's been said before, they supposed to go hand in hand. But for the sake of this question, I'm asking you this question. But for the sake of the question, I'm asking you this: would you rather have somebody to love you, or would you rather have somebody to sacrifice for
you? That's a good question. Neither. Neither. Because love is selfish thing. It comes with love comes with consequences. Love comes from, and then sacrifice. What do you sacrifice? And is it sacrificing because you love, or you've been put in a position where you think there's a right to sacrifice? When the obvious logical point is to that you're supposed to go on like you are. Old saying, if you can't take care of yourself, who can you take care of? Who can you do for? And never know. So I'm gonna kind of leave it like that. I just started hearing. I just started having my first cup of coffee, so I'm not up there right now.
Exactly. That's good. Badger, talk to me.
Like I said, it's kind of a interesting dynamic, or at least in my eyes, because it would be amazing to have that experience, I suppose. Someone, but like, we were saying, not a lot of people even know what that's like. So how would they even know how to receive it? And to me, that's what can trying to think. I guess it depends on like the view. Because to have someone that truly is willing to, that cares about you so much that they're willing to take a bullet for you. It sounds so foreign to me. Because I don't think there's a lot of people in this world like that anymore. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. And I think that there are. I mean, you have to really have to search real deep to find them. And recognize that they do. A lot of times they could be walking around you every day. But we don't take the time to get to know the people that we don't get to know each other like we used to. We don't spend time with each other. I venture to think that sometimes, to a certain degree, we don't even care as much as we used to care for each other. Is life as usual. My life is going on just like yours is going on. Let life go. Let life do what it do. Kat, what's on your heart? What do you say to that? And that's a sad reality.
Well, I mean, I don't think you can get no more out of this. I know water out of this rock. I think we exhausted. I think we're gonna keep coming back.
No, I'm asking, do you think people really care for each other like they used to?
Now people, brother, we are living in the world where everything is me, my, I, me, my, I. We into ourselves, man. There's no more human compassion. At least I don't think I see it that people have for one another. It's terrible because I think we are losing what it's like to be a human being. I think the world is being divided by political party lines, by racial party lines, by ethnicity party lines. We're battling every day. When you look on the news, you almost had to figure out what battle you're going to fight today. You're going to fight the racism or increase racism that you see with black and white? Are we going to battle the increase of police brutality to minorities? Are we going to battle the political red versus the blue and Donald Trump versus? Are we going to battle the poverty that America is facing and the homelessness, and people are getting more hungry today, and it got nothing to do with is black people starving, poor white folks are starving. Man, it's just madness.
Yeah.
And for you to give us an opportunity on this airways to voice our personal opinion, some of us is victims of this madness. So if you can get a decent conversation out of anybody that show any compassion for another human being, I think, man, that is on the mark.
Yes, sir.
Is it common? It should be, but it's not.
Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Phone lines open. Give us a call. Love to hear from you. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, I was thinking about how we might not realize just how much people are sacrificing. Um, Look, it's a lot of traumatized and people walking around in despair right now. A lot of hurt people.
Yeah.
Everybody's not happy. A lot of people going through things, but they choose not to take it out on everybody else. But believe me, if they could probably harm those that made them mad, or just take it out and to make a point and hurt a lot of people. Just things that go through their mind, but they choose not to. So I think about the phrase, I gave them a pass. There are plenty of people walking around right now that's giving you a pass because they might walk by your car and see that you left the car unlocked and you got $100 bills just sitting in the middle console, comfortable, not paying attention, just, irresponsible. Matter of fact, I see that all the time. You know what I'm saying? I remember down here when they had that PCB lawsuit against Monsanto, and Johnny Cochran came in and got everybody that money. We had the largest class action lawsuit in the history of in history at the time. Somebody else has surpassed that since then. And from that point forward, you still had a lot of people that when they turned 18, they got lump sum checks for like $40,000 and $50,000. And some of these people were young and foolish, immature, irresponsible, and just spending, and money was no thing to them. And they would leave money in the middle console with the cars unlocked. I would walk by and see them, I'm like, I have to go, now, look, man, you need to go lock your car, boy. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Man, all your car, you got your car unlocked, man. They just, oh, my bad, I wasn't even thinking. And I'm like, what? I could have did it. Anybody could have did it. Luckily, I was the one that passed by and knew them and thought enough of them to go back and tell them, look, man, the next person walk by might not be like me, man. You got to use your head.
Yeah.
That wasn't, I don't want to even say that was a sacrifice, but if anybody else did walk by that had those intentions and really needed that money, said to themselves, man, I could get that money and use that. They probably made a sacrifice by saying, I ain't going to do that. I'm not going to steal. That's not right. I'd rather get it the right way. There are plenty of hungry people and homeless people and broke people walking around that really could take advantage of people, of vulnerable people if they wanted to, but they choose not to. So exactly. I don't want to think that there aren't many people walking around not sacrificing, because if there weren't many people walking around sacrificing, there'll be a lot of beat up and dead people right now.
Yeah, exactly. Rico, read what the Facebook user said over there. You got to scroll up because it's kind of easy. Yeah.
Good morning, guys. I think you have to love before you can positively sacrifice for someone. God did the ultimate sacrifice by giving his son up for our sins. That's love. It's a such thing as tough love to see a result to a positive sacrifice. Don't sacrifice someone in a negative way. That will only hurt the individual you are sacrificing for.
Do you agree with that?
I agree, but I disagree with the top part, because like I said, everybody don't know what love is. They just trying to make it. They think they know what love is. It might be toxic. It might be infatuation, and so they might be sacrificing for the wrong thing, but I think most people sacrifice thinking in their version of love.
That's good. That's good. Ibrahim, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, I'm ready now. I think about a real life story that I had. I came off the road and driving trucks, and the lady I was married to and everything, right? We had new cars and stuff like that in the house. But my whole family and my daughter, everybody had changed, because now I became, part of me had to fit into the house. So all the sacrifices that's upon me. Like if I want to watch something on TV, no longer I'm just in and out. Well, you can't watch that because our daughter watches this and that, and he and your son, he does this, and and I'm like, okay, but I'm paying for this, right? And then it came down to a car. All I needed, I got a job where I was in and out, and all I needed was a car to get back and forth to work. I run down the road, I come back maybe 2 or 3 days a weekend, and that was a big thing. Like it became a big thing. Like it was just hateful that, well, you just take the car, do this. She worked job. I said, well, you can take me to work, but you can't because she's a teacher. She had to go to work certain times and back. I'm just, in and out, day, night, whatever. I come back or when I do. So I said, well, I went and bought me a piece of junk car, right? And it was so pissed out that she went and bought her a brand new car because she could do that. Now, I'm not making that kind of money running for myself and all like that, right? And then, you know what? That brought a divorce. Everything that she had do with me and my behavior and all like that. I do her, I went and got a divorce because that was just too much for me to deal with, that we couldn't work together, figure something out to be good for both of us. So sometimes you can sacrifice things, but everything has a consequence. Everything we do, maybe unintended consequence.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Logically would assume that would be right. But then she told me she ain't going to pay note on the brand new car that we had, which is very expensive, that we were sharing. The only time I used it was whenever. But I'm just saying, it was so hurtful to me. And so like, this is where you're at. You ain't going nowhere now. This is the end of the road.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes love can be the wrong thing, to put in there. And sometimes you use your senses and intelligence instead of a person's feeling because you blinded with love.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got all these funny things about love. Love is a selfish thing. You're telling somebody, this is what you do. This is how I feel. You take that away. You take that feeling away. There's no love.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of y'all might not do that to be in love, to be in a relationship that you got established. You have good feelings for each other, bad feelings for each other. And then it comes to a time where there's no more sex. Years, no more sex. Anything like this here, right? Years of whatever, denying those things that you like from this person. Deny it. Are you still with that person?
Mm.
A lot of people say, oh, no. Say, well, if he ain't making that kind of money, he ain't no man. He ain't making no money. He ain't doing this. He ain't buying this. He ain't doing this for me. Blah, blah, blah. Right? And you say, well, she ain't no woman. She ain't doing this. She ain't doing that. Right? But, and obviously, y'all know what love is.
Mm-hmm.
You're not ready to bear the consequences or responsibility of being with another person and living a life where you still combine without that funny feeling that you hear on TV and radio. People tell you all these things, right? But in real life, love is when you don't run. Love when you're ready to tolerate a little bit more because you with that person. That's the only reason.
Good
just
deal.
Because they're there,
Mm-hmm.
you're there. You have some good days, you have some bad days, but you're still there.
Hold on just a little while longer.
What did you say?
Yeah, I say that's an example of holding on just a little while longer. Sometimes you gotta hold on just a little while. Yeah.
Like, you tell me what love is. As soon as you don't get what you want, you cut and run.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
As soon as they're getting that good feeling no more, you cut and run.
Mm-hmm.
Because they get mad at you or attitude or something, you cut and run.
Mm-hmm.
Or you want to kick them out because they ain't this, they ain't that. They ain't like the TV guy. They don't got fat, they ain't got diabetes, or they sick all the time. They can't do this. You gonna run, cut and run.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
You know what I mean? That wasn't love you was feeling. That was just an emotion.
Yeah.
They say love ain't nothing but acceptance and emotion.
Oh, okay.
You know
hold on.
I mean?
Oh, okay, Ibrahim, you started to sing, brother. We got to move on. Hold on for a minute. Hold on. Let me go. Yeah, you started to sing. Let me go to Cap. And I want to ask you this question, man. In this, and we're gonna switch up topic, go to another topic because I don't want to stay on this too long. But actually, this is something a little different. But do we realize in this day and time, do you think we or the younger generation understand the aspect or the angle of consequences and what consequences are?
Kind of rephrase that again so I can understand what this is.
Do you think young people today understand what consequences are?
Do I think they understand what consequences are?
Yes.
I really don't think they are as they do.
Mm-hmm.
We have and we said it several times on this show, we have dropped the ball, those of us who are adults, who know better. We could have done more in helping our young people understand the consequences of their actions.
Mm-hmm.
But, they are fighting a battle greater than the battle that I fought when I was their age. I mean, with the age of social media and the power of social media, it does not give our young people a time to think and reflect. It's just a push of a button, a post, and whatever you had on your mind, whether you thought it out fairly, it's out there. It's going viral. And sometimes we don't recognize the consequences of our actions. I think this generation of young people really don't know the consequences of their actions.
Yeah.
I think that they have so many challenges. Oh man, I get almost saddened to think that what these young folks have to go through, man. And we try to do all we can as adults to share with them that this is the consequences of this. And when you get on social media, and I'm sure many of us know about social media, I have to go through 5 to 6 women shaking their booty, showing their backside, how they can make it clap. And I'm sure that's what's going on in the TikTok world. But in order for me to get to a positive post, I got to go through that. I can get on there and delete it, or I can get on there and make my statement about it. But it's almost to the point where I become desensitized. I mean, to the point where I'm used to it. I'm used to seeing this kind of madness. It don't affect me no more, to the point where it definitely don't get no aroused. It just let me move on. And it's sad because we have become dummied down. And so, no, I don't think our young people understand the consequences of their action. Hell, you got some adults who don't understand the consequences of their action. I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, you did. You absolutely did. You absolutely did. Let me go to Tucson. Tucson, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. Good morning.
Tucson, do you think young people in this day and time, we're going to twist the topic as well, but do you think young people in this day and time understand what consequences are, or the consequences of their actions?
They don't care.
They
don't even have a reason to care. It's just me. I mean, if you ain't taught nothing, how you gonna care about something? Matter of fact, we get to now, it's like Cap was saying, but the bad thing about it is you see them clapping and dropping it like it's hot and doing the little dances, but you got 3 generations doing it.
Wow.
The daughter, she's a little child, the mama and the grandmama. And if you don't watch it, the great grandmama there with them. Here's a 45, 50, almost 60-year-old woman doing the same thing. Tell me when I'm wrong.
Hey, you ain't saying nothing wrong yet, brother.
So now when you see a young 20-year-old doing what they do, why should they care? It's condoned. So you just do it. They don't worry about no consequences from who. Who they gonna get consequences from? Where the correction gonna come in? We don't even try to correct her. Mama, you tripping.
Yeah.
And mama just go sit in the corner and quit tripping. That's what she do. Or just join along with her. Girl, you got to shake that thing. Shake what your mama gave you. Your money. Shake that money maker. What's a money maker? What you think she's talking about? Then our young men, bless their heart.
How the old folks used to say, girl, you sitting on a gold mine, you don't even know it.
That's what I'm talking about. And then the young men, they just doing their thing. We call it sowing oats. They call it just getting mine. So yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna listen in for me.
Okay, good deal. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? It's a lot, man, going on with this here.
Yeah, man. I don't think they understand the consequences. I mean, speaking on the young women and the young men, I think about I think I said a week or two ago about how each generation has to exceed the previous generation.
Yeah.
And we didn't learn from our consequences. We dealt with it and then still glorified our heyday. And so the people the generations that came after us had to exceed that we glorified and that we praised and said was worthy of being recognized. And so now we have a situation where you still have the same behavior going on steroids, and we're not realizing that the reason why we're going through this is because we're repeating the cycle because of our actions, and we won't hold ourselves accountable. But the thing is, I think people do realize the consequences, or they care. I think they do care after the stuff hit the fan.
Yeah.
See, look at Brittany Griner. Brittany Griner want to come back from Russia now. But if you don't believe the propaganda about Russia, I mean, we were in fear. We thought that, hey, man, Russia was the cold bear. They're going to come and take over America and nuke us and knock us off the map. Even after they got broken up, we still had been hearing this propaganda about how hard, mean, and cold Russia is. And Putin is killing billionaires and taking their money. Man, you don't want to go to Russia. No, communism. And then guess what she want to do? I'm a young black millennial. Let me take this weed liquid over here. They ain't gonna know no better. See, they don't think people know better. They don't understand that everything that you are seeing now was created by people that was here before you. So believe me, we do know. We do know. And it probably has happened before you, but this young generation feel like what they seeing and doing is something brand new. What Kanye doing?
They got all the sense. They got all the sense. Ain't nobody else got no sense.
Look, Kanye out here acting like he a genius and repeating something that he just discovered, and he teaching something that Professor Griff been talking about for 30 years.
Yep.
KRS-One been talking about this for 30 years. But when you was out here rapping about gold digger and trying to be in paparazzi with the Kardashians, you want to be a Kardashian, you weren't thinking about it then, but you knew about it. You didn't want to talk about the Jews and the contracts then, but you knew about it. But you thought that you knew better than your ancestors. Like, don't get me wrong, our ancestors did drop the ball to a certain extent, but at the same time, you knew about the good ones that didn't drop the ball. You knew. It's mighty funny to me that you could repeat the words of Martin Luther King Jr., but you still married into this family and became a cuckold. Listen, you saw the video. You knew who she was. You knew how she got famous. And you still wanted to marry her. Even when she said she thought you were just a friend, you didn't even want to give up. Now you against these people. Now you regret. So, it's like when the stuff hit the fan, oh, I see it now. The Jews are all over our contracts. They run the media. They run the industry. But I still want to go to Skechers to still see if they'll make a deal with me to sell my shoes. Which one you want to do? So you don't think there's no consequences. So I think about the music. I think about the women that's crying because these boys rapping about smoking on them after they done killed them, and rapping about how they killed them execution style. These mamas got to hear this. And these boys think it ain't no consequences. But the prison system is showing you it is one.
Absolutely.
Look at how many of y'all up in here. The graveyard is showing you. People that's making t-shirts could tell you, hey, it's an increase in young black males. Faces on our t-shirts with rest in peace on the bottom, or long live. That's what they say now, long live, LL. It's funny that you bringing this up, man, because I woke up like 3 o'clock this morning, man, and I started dozing back off. And in between that dream state, man, I had a dream that I was at somebody's elementary school, and it just dawned on me. I was sitting in the lunchroom, and the lunchroom was empty, and I was just thinking about the amount of kids that was coming through there. And I said to myself, then, you know what? I'm fixing to start going from school to school every day, meeting up with all the young black males and informing and giving them direction and instruction and bringing people in to influence them because they need this. And I don't know why it came to me real fast, but it was all about the fact that I know so many people don't have fathers at home. And these young men are growing up and not understanding the consequences of how to handle themselves or to get out of certain situations. And it was geared toward young black males. And actually, I'm thinking about how to put that together, just start some type of organization where you could just go through school systems, maybe with one person that could get all the young black males for one period of day and start just mentoring them, introducing them to positive things, But yeah, I think this troll generation, this culture that we live in, are trolling and counseling people because they saying stuff you don't like. It might be true, but I don't like it. He said that me being free and liberated and talking about WAP and making this type of music and selling, he don't like it. And I think he trying to oppress women, and y'all trying to control us. We're going to counsel you.
Wow. Keep it right there.
Yeah, I don't think they understand the consequences. I don't think they really understand the meaning behind karma.
Yeah, exactly. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
I mean, they're hitting it on the head.
You
know, it's just one of those things of how kind of just throwing something out there of how do you teach? How could you teach it?
Example. First, you got in order to teach anything, you got to be the example of what you're trying to teach.
Well,
first you got to be that example.
I agree and I disagree. Because you've come to know me, you know I'm pretty serious when I say I'm one of those crazy people that do it. But you know how many people have told me that I'm dumb and ignorant and stupid because of that? That I need to learn to be selfish and so on and blah blah blah.
How many times did you listen?
I mean, I'm still the way I am, man.
That means you're being that example.
So yeah, but what would be the majority, if that makes any sense? Like how many people
let me step in
are willing to do it?
Let me say for a second, Badger, and I understand. I think I understand where you're going, but my thing is this right here. Far too often, we get caught up in wondering or worrying about what the majority or other people are doing, and we get so caught up in that time passes by, and we find ourselves in a situation where we did nothing to make a difference. My thing is, if you want to make a difference, sometimes you just got to take the pebble and throw it in the water, and let the ripples go where they go. We can't worry about what other people are doing, what they're not doing, or how they're going to think about us, how they're going to feel about us, or whatever. If we want to make a positive difference, we have to be willing to take that pebble and throw it in the water and let the ripples go. Go ahead, though, Badger. What's on your heart?
Oh, I can vibe with that. That's not, to me, that's not an issue at all. What I'm looking at is what are it's something that I've been like racking my head about, because there are a lot of humans out here that work very hard to not just preach but to walk it. And a lot of times it feels like the people that are receiving it or that see it, it's so abstract. I hope I'm saying that correctly. That it seems they don't know how to understand it or grasp it. Because in today's society,
come on, Badger.
Sorry, the person on Facebook threw me off. Oh, was that you, Rico?
Badger.
Yeah, that was me.
You know, that it's almost like anyone that is willing to walk that path is judged so harshly that you can't be that way. It's impossible to be that way.
That's where I think a little different. if I'm gonna do
I'm not
something,
saying I'm worried about it. What I'm
yeah, I
trying
would. Yeah,
to
that's my point.
say
Hmm.
is this is something that we are having to combat. And why
Hmm.
I'm bringing it to the surface is, yes, we can talk about this all day long, but why is
Hmm.
it so foreign to accept that a human being is willing to do that?
Mm. Because as you said earlier, it's not the norm, and a lot of times people don't want to do anything because they're worried about outside entities instead of making a difference and putting their foot in the water. You know, in order to walk across something, man, a pond or body of water, you got to first put your foot in that water, man, and take a step and move. You gotta first take a step. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. Call, I'm coming to you next. Tucson, you there? Tucson may be away from his. I'm gonna go ahead and say it to him.
They put me on the list. Put me on the list for the speaker
Okay,
coming up.
absolutely. Tucson, wake up and go to sleep. Wake up and go to sleep. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Cassandra, consequences. Do our young people understand what consequences is in this day and time?
Not only don't our young people understand, adults don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but no, I don't think that they think things through. I think a lot of young people now are just reactionary, if that's a word. I
Mm-hmm.
made that up. Is that a word?
I don't know, Cassandra.
But
I
yeah,
think you just made one up real quick. I think you just made one up because.
I think I just made it up. I don't even know if that's a word, but they just, huh?
It's a word.
But okay. So they just do things, you know. I I mean, it's almost scary. They have this like I'm invincible mentality almost,
Mm-hmm.
and don't realize that the things that you do, uh, something is going to come as a result of what you've done. So whether it's good or bad, and let's put that out there, whether it's good or bad. But I think that they don't consider the repercussions for the
Mm-hmm.
things that they do.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Mm-hmm.
they don't consider the consequences
Wow.
for their actions.
Wow. And that's really a sad reality that they don't. And like Cap said, I think, you know, a part of that is our responsibility, and we've dropped the ball in the transition. But Ibrahim, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Yeah, like that's right. And sometimes reading and understanding what you're actually saying and thinking about it, that you devoid of consequences, and you can even reinforce that you create negative consequences, right? Yesterday it was said something about Ibrahim and his wife Sarah and his wife Hagar. With today's understanding, we don't see Ibrahim having more than one wife. Abraham having more than one wife. We call it mission now, and so it said in the book that that Sarah was jealous. But now I heard yesterday that it was Hagar that was jealous. But if the whole story is, you read the whole story, then Hagar was cast out along with Ishmael out into the desert because Sarah was angry, and God had told Sarah that that she could have this. She could hire an old woman like me that I can have a child, right? And he said to be, and it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he was so angry about it that was Ibrahim's firstborn, right? And he was thrown in the desert. Now then, it's called upon. It's just general out. It's called upon that he take his firstborn to the hill, right? And then now the war between the Jews and other religions is, right. Well, the story is, right, in the Torah, not the Talmud, not the Torah, but the story is that Ishmael not Ishmael, but Isaac's birthright was stolen by Ishmael.
Mm-hmm.
Because the firstborn is firstborn. I don't care if you see it or because she was a surrogate or she was the second wife or whatever you want to say, that was still his firstborn son.
Mm-hmm.
And the birthright wasn't stolen. You know what I mean? But because of this, now you have hundreds of years of argument about this, people trying to interpret it with their generation, or with their philosophy about this thing that happened. Another thing that we fail to remember, how unintended consequences are positive for some people, unintended for others. Well, I mean, negative consequences for others. Christmas we talked about. Right now, they're putting a tree in the plaza. They've done for over 100 years. And the Christmas before they put that tree in the plaza and started commercializing Christmas, it wasn't nowhere near the thing that we have today. The depression is going to come for that. People trying to get money together. The depression going to face trying to pay bills, to pay everyday bills, to put on a Christmas that we see in all these different movies and all of that. You know, we're going to try to live that life. We're going to have that happiness and joy. We're going to suffer for the rest of the year because of that feeling. You know what I'm saying? Thanksgiving is another thing, right? There are unintended consequences will go on when we buy ourselves something we don't understand. I sung it yesterday. We believe in things we don't understand, right? And we suffer. And there's so many things. And like the thing about Jesus gave his firstborn son. I'm not arguing about that, right? But the thing is that you think about it, people for years, right? And even today say the Jews killed Christ. The Jews killed Christ. You know, that was a big thing when I was coming up. The hatred for Jews, the hatred for people, because the Jews killed their Christ, their God. You know what I mean? So I'm going on. And one other thing, Dave Chappelle is going through hell right now because he made some comments or some comments about transgender people. Now, why, you know, like Rico said earlier, the cancel culture, you know, and stuff like this, right? You can't really say anything about anything the way you feel about anything, especially based on sincere feelings and what you actually think and why you think this, right? That you immediately people want to throw you out the door, like the comment that was made by the Jews by the guy. But now the billionaire make the same comment, keep putting on the same post. Nobody even hints about how terrible he is. So because this black, this person here, this black had the audacity to think that he was equal to us or equal to anybody else, you know. And I made a comment about Israel not being a religious state. You know, it is a secular state. And people castigated me because I was talking about what the Israelis are doing to the Palestinians. With 100 years of almost a murder and sacrifice and destruction of Palestine, and they want to see all the glory that they're being corralled in and beat up. And they took these lands, right? So it doesn't make any difference. Anything that you say by people in power, if you're not in that same type of power or greater than, then you're going to be castigated. You're going to be, because what? The consequence that they trying to support themselves, the consequence that anytime you stand up for yourself, that you're going to face the backlash. You have to be ready for that, prepare for that, because it's going to happen. You know what I mean? So pick and choose. But so there's a difference between consequences. Some consequences mean good for one person, and it means negative. Anything that you do causes a positive or a negative consequence, right? Now we have this big, wonderful Christmas. But the consequences are suffering. But for the media and the marketing, everything, it's big. You got the bands come out, you got everything happening. Like people are spending money, the economy goes up, you know, the gross national product increases, the stock market go up like it did, like we were talking about last 2 years. Probably pay attention. The economy is never altered. It's going. The stock market is going back up. So I'm taking loss. So is there inflation over it? No. You know, is distribution center free? Yeah. But how come we're not feeling this? Because people are making money. You know what I mean? You know, so we have to understand the consequences of what we actually know and what we actually believe, you know.
Absolutely.
And it's a good thing to really, if you believe in something, the real thing is to research it and study it to your utmost and not take things at face value and literally, you know, if you don't even know it even happened. You know
that's
what
good.
I'm saying? And that's that question what you know.
Okay, good deal. Let's keep this thing going. Captain, what's on your heart right now before we move to another topic?
Oh, I'm sorry. I had just got off the phone with my friend Russell Simmons. He called me because he did a post on Instagram that I kind of had a problem with, him coming behind the minister. The minister yesterday, as many may know, it went viral all around the country, defending Kyrie and Kanye. And the minister talked about his years of the attacks by Jewish people concerning him. And Russell came and did a live interview this morning, coming behind the minister as if the minister took the fact that it was Russell's statement was it was not the ADL that was demanded, that was suspending Kyrie. It was the Nets. And so I had to say to Russell, I said, the minister did understand that, and you don't have to come behind the minister and interpret what the minister said. I said, so that's what I got off. And then most certainly, as I heard my man Green talked about the Jewish, it is a real serious conversation in the Black community. I don't know how we not deal with it as it is, but it's real. I mean, we're battling to disassociate ourselves with those who believe that they have the power to make us do whatever they want us to do if we disagree with them. They cry all the time that we're about their Holocaust, while we look at what we went through slavery and we paid a hell of a cost. And it's almost as if, they want Kyrie to get sensitivity training to go to their Holocaust museum when in reality they need to get sensitivity training and sit down with us and let's talk about the role they play. So I got off the line, so I don't know where we at, but there's a battle right now. I don't know if we know about it, but it is really a serious concern that's going around in the Black community about this controversial Kanye and my man Kyrie. And I think it's good because we're talking about breaking the power control over our athletes, our entertainers, and our rappers. That is not by all Jews, but by a very small segment of Jewish power. And let me give you this one point before we move on. Russell wanted to take Rush Card, which he created Rush Card, to have Rush Card sponsor my barbershop tour. And when Russell went to Rush Card to sponsor, it was I think it was $100,000. They wanted it to no, I'm sorry, $75,000 they wanted to give to me, the Peacekeepers. Those that was on the board of Rush Card, who were Jews, said to Russell, well, we don't have no problem sponsoring Captain Muhammad and the Peacekeepers, but he cannot mention the minister's name.
Wow.
He cannot quote the minister.
Wow.
And when Russell had me on the line with them, and I said to Russell, you take this back to Rush Card, tell him take the money, stick it. And I said some real foul stuff. Man, how dare you? Now, Russell, you're supposed to be the owner of Rush Card.
Yeah.
But now you got to capitulate to your people that you have.
Do you really own it?
Me you free? Man, get him out of here with that. Russell comes back. I don't need your money. So what happened was another organization stepped in and they said, well, you can give it to them. Don't give it to Captain Muhammad, give it to them. And that's what they did. They gave it to another organization. That organization was able to say, well, Captain, they gave it to us, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to give it back to you with no stipulations. And that's how I got the money. But it goes to show you, even a man like Russell, he has people, man, this Jewish, you have a Jewish bank accountant. So even he wasn't free enough to be able to say to them, no. So, when you look at people who you think got power, they really don't have no power. And if they're wealthy, it's because they had some Jewish people help them to get that wealth. I'm not mad at that. I'm really not mad at that.
And Cap, let me say this. Let me say this because I asked a question earlier, a couple of weeks ago, I think it was. What does freedom really looks like? What does freedom? See, a lot of people will look at a situation like that and say, well, Russ, he owned this, he owned that, blah, blah, blah. He's free from the system. But to hear that, and he had to go through them, even though he quote unquote owns it, he had to go through them to get the permission to give you, his friend, money. Is that really freedom? Is that really freedom?
No, it ain't freedom. And I had to check him a few minutes ago. So he's taking that post down. Okay, Cam. When it comes to the minister, man, You may be my mans and all that, but you know what? When you're wrong, partner, you're wrong. I don't care nothing about the celebrity side. I don't care nothing about your money. I'm a principled man.
Yeah.
Nobody controls Pastor D, man. And when it comes to the minister, I'm gonna stand with the minister.
Yeah.
But this go to show you, even the ones that we look up to don't really have real power. And I know that. I've been rolling with the dude for 35 years. But enough is enough, man. Either we gonna be free or we not. That's all.
Exactly. And Rico jumping up and down. I can't go to him right now because I just came from him for a minute ago. I'm gonna make my way back to you, brother. But Cassandra, what's on your heart? Cassandra?
What are we talking about?
What
are we talking about? I thought you were changing the subject.
Yeah, I am. I'm changing. Are we really free? We're gonna change to that for a second or two. Are we really free? Regardless of how much finances we might have in the bank and all the money, this and that, are we really free?
When everybody on this line knows this, when you're in business, I don't care how big you are, there's accountability to somebody, whether it's to pay taxes, whatever. There is always going to be some type of accountability. If you are not willing to live by the guidelines of the accountability of your business or whatever, because even if you own a company, if you have a board of directors, that's why you have board of directors and people in place that help you with decision making and policies, and they should keep you in check or in line with what you can do from what you can't do. And that's just a part of business. And I mean, I was a business major before I went into education. You got in that's just like business 101. Even though I'm not talking about what.
I know you're not talking about what happened there, but let me throw this at you real quick. Okay, you come into a whole lot of money. You come into millions and millions of dollars. And that's supposed to be your money, but it's tied into somebody else. And you say, well, look at here. I've been on the Morning Glow for years. I've been on the Morning Glow for years with Raheem and the crew. And I wanna bless them $100,000. I want to bless them $100,000. And the people that you in partnership with, even though it's your money, they say, listen, you cannot give that money to the Morning Glow. You cannot. No, you can't get that money because I don't like, for whatever reason, I don't like Raheem, who he is, what he represents, and stuff like that. So no, you can't give them that money.
That's something totally different, Raheem. I mean, what you're describing is totally
but that's what
different from what I was referring to.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, because those are apples and oranges. So it's two different things.
But
if I win the $1 billion and I decide to give money to everybody on this line, ain't nobody can stop me from doing that.
There you go.
But if I'm a company, that's something totally different because I'm accountable to the people that I put in place for that business. So I'm just saying, if it's my personal money, I can do what the heck I want with it. You know what I'm saying? But if you're in a business, you have a business structure, and that's something totally different. So, I'm just saying it is different. And I don't know, I don't know the dynamics of Russell's company. And I'm just mentioning it because Cap mentioned it, of Russell's company. But whatever his structure is, they obviously have the authority to say, hey, this is not something we want to back, blah, 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 or we think you should back. That's just the company. You know what I'm saying? That's the structure. So I don't have to agree with it. We don't have to agree with it, but obviously that's what he has set up.
See, and that would to me that would be a huge issue for me. For like if I want to give you some money, if it's my money, my company, whatever, and I want to give it to you, I want to support you in what you're doing. I don't care what you say. I'm gonna do it. This is just what it is, and let the chips fall where they may. Let me keep this thing going. Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother? We're good. We're good.
What we? You said, are we really free?
Yes.
I wanna be free.
Oh Lord, here goes somebody singing.
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord, see. 8:43. Well, no. Ibrahim sung earlier. I was going to say 8:43. We just heard the first song, but no, Ibrahim was on here singing earlier, so I can't even say that. Go ahead. Go ahead, Tucson. What's on your heart?
We're going to do a duet.
No,
we're going to do a duet.
A do not.
What do you want?
You're going to do a
bass or tenor? Baritone.
You're going to do a do not.
No, I do what I want to do. Now, some things that we do as these agents, it'll cost us one way or the other. But we can't be scared of it. The consequences. Sometimes we have to suffer the consequences of being free. If you want to be free, you can't depend on the slave master to take care of you. Right? Yes. Right? Yeah. Remember, and I'm going to just throw it out there like this. Remember when the Israelites went out there, got past Egypt, got to the Red Sea, and they told Moses, I told you to leave us alone. We would have been better off serving the Egyptians. Don't that sound familiar?
Wow.
We could have, if we, because you didn't have to depend on nobody else. They told you where to get up. They told you where to lay down. They told you when to go to work, how long to work. Sun up to sundown, brick with no straw. But you're out there on your own after crying out for a deliverer. God send you a deliverer, and now you're out there, and now you're bragging on the master.
Wow.
But if you want to be free, you got to suffer the consequences. Get out there on your own and do your own thing. Depend on who you really are supposed to be dependent on, and he'll make a way. You're not broke. If you check out who spend most of the money, you're looking at some of the people that look like the ones that spend the most money. Might not spend it on the right thing.
Yeah.
But you do spend a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Yeah. You look good.
5089.
You all look good.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No.
You
Finish
all
your thought,
look
brother.
good, and you look good, but your house nasty with your free self.
Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Paul said, I would donate. He said, if I had the money, I would donate the $100,000 with the stipulation that you have to upgrade your internet phone system. Okay. I appreciate that. You donate $100,000, brother. I definitely would upgrade my internet phone system. I would do that just for you. Let's keep this. God is good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning, Morning Glow team.
Good morning. It's good to have you. Good to have you. Asking a question, are we really free?
I wanted to tell Brother Muhammad what he said and what he was bringing about. That is so real, and we have got to check ourselves. We have got to turn around and look at and call out those that are not and remove yourself from that. That has been killing our community for years. Not only does it take place in the record industry, it takes place in the real estate industry. And what I mean by that, we're looking, I'm going to speak on Kansas City right now. We have an area that is known, that is historically known for jazz and blues, but it was also Kansas City's Black Wall Street. Madam C.J. Walker's building was torn down where she had an office here next to Mr. I can't think of his name, but it was part of Sarah. Sarah's husband had some business with it, but he was one of the first Black owners that sold cars here in Kansas City, which was a big deal. Along with the fact that I have two buildings. One was the first Black diversified, where they came in from Big Bang Theory to Big Bang Theory to Bebop, which is Charlie Parker. But the buildings, that building and the building next door to mine, which is still, I own that one too. But the fact of the matter is that those buildings were in the civil rights thing when blacks, it was called the Negro Motor List. Do you know that all these buildings, only 4, 5 owners, all these buildings were owned by black people? Do you know there's only 5 black owners left?
Mm.
And then the new guy who comes in uses a black face. He's a cool guy. I went to college with him. Good guy. But he brings a big, huge corporation as though he was the one who's doing the development, but they really are.
Mm-hmm.
And when I said something about it, he was highly offended. So I'm like, Calvin, as a master developer, can you put something in your agreement plans to make sure they won't come in and take our property?
Mm-hmm.
So we got to start looking at that.
Give me one.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what's going on. These master developers are coming in, taking over property, and we're not saying nothing, and we have to.
Mm-hmm.
Not only are they coming and taking our businesses, they have a neighborhood that's the only co-op, black-owned co-op in United States. They get ready to take their land.
Wow. And it's happening across, not just there, man. It's stuff like that is happening across the board, man. We have to be real mindful as to what we're doing and how we maintain.
We can start gathering together.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to get us to do this for the longest.
Mm-hmm.
And the Mexican guy has said, I watched this the other day. The Mexican guy said, you know the difference between us and blacks? He said, we can stick together. We'll help each other. We ain't hating on each other. Who got a bigger car? Who got a better this or a better job? We can congratulate each other and help each other. And when Paco opens a business, we come in there to support Paco's business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we as blacks don't do that. We so worried about the next person getting up over on us.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Hold on, sis. We got to keep this thing moving. Hold on. Let me go to Rico. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
To me, this all comes back down to being self-sufficient and some of the things that Ibrahim talks about. You know, we never really dive into that being self-sufficient, but this is the prime example why. I'm gonna get to what Cassandra said earlier. Really, truly, you was on pause a second ago to come to me because it was something Cassandra had said that I wanted to get to. So I'm gonna be able to get to that the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I was glad Captain Dennis did this because I don't know if y'all caught it last week. You know, I saw the video that Russell made after he got off the show, and I heard what he said on the show, and he said that the stuff that Kanye said about the Jews and the contracts and stuff, it wasn't true, and that these young boys make the music that they want. That's their art, and they speaking what they live in their experience. So he absolved Leo Cohen, who came on the Breakfast Club and said, well, the music is bad and it's sad what's going on. And then when Charlemagne asked him, well, why do you keep putting the music out? Leo said, I got to feed my children.
Yeah, I saw that.
Now,
I saw that.
Russ had to go to investors that have controlling interest in a company that has his name and his representation on it as his. Anybody you see on that Forbes list they call a billionaire is not a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody you see on that Forbes list they calling that. They are what you call it, representations of companies that have made or can potentially make billions. And you are an asset to it. It's one of your assets. Jay-Z jumped on the ownership of the Nets and put the image out to us, just like Rush. We have the image of this being Rush's card. This is Rush money. This Rush company. He make all the decisions. That's what you're gonna assume.
Mm-hmm.
Jay-Z, I'm owner of the Brooklyn Nets. Let's take a picture with the Russians. Let's get y'all to agree and vote on it. And let's bring the Barclays here. It'll be a good thing. 50 Cent. I own Vitamin Water. Vitamin Water get bought for $40 billion. 50 Cent ain't got $40 billion. Somebody else got the majority of that money. That means you still answering to investors. You still got to play their ball. So Russell said something. When he said that, I was hoping that he would call back in one day, because even though I appreciate where he made it, I was definitely going to say something about the fact that they have to make the decision of what songs come on albums. They determine what songs are going to be put on the album. They'll tell you this is acceptable, this is not. I saw a video with Leo Cohen where he put Lupe Fiasco's album out early. He didn't like the content of it. So it's like, you know, we have to understand that this is the game that's being played. There's a double standard. They don't acknowledge what we go through, but just the fact that we acknowledge the facts that exist about these people being on the contracts, these people being in the banks. You just acknowledge these facts and they calling you an anti-Semitic. And then they're canceling you. And then they want to make you bow down and copulate to them to get back on the basketball court, when you say all the thing you did was refer a movie. But what about the man that has the platform that the movie is on? So now I go back to what Cassandra was saying earlier about even the adults don't understand consequences. And the reason why we don't understand consequences is because we have glorified entertainment and we have glorified our heyday when we talk about all the partying and all the debauchery that we did, all the immoral things that we did, but we called it fun. The Luke Skywalker, the Too Short, the stripping, the sets, all the things that we condone and we praise. We didn't understand the consequences behind letting our children be exposed to hearing this. You know, when we told them about how much fun we had, oh, y'all don't know nothing about fun. We did this, we did that. We didn't understand the consequences. Or we did understand the consequences. We should have understood the consequences as adults, that glorifying this behavior to these children was going to be like fireworks and sirens to them. Them only imagining, oh, y'all had this kind of fun. You're talking about who did the drive-bys, who had the baddest cars, who had the most money, who sold the most dope. They want to exceed us, and we don't understand that that's what is supposed to happen. If whatever we put into this world, what we're gonna get out of it. And so in this thing called evolution and progress, every generation that comes after us is going to try to exceed us in whatever we value the most. Absolutely. And whatever we found or made important. So if we making important having guns, shooting, selling dope, sniffing dope, making money, having sex. If we glorifying all this and making this seem like this is what life is all about, guess what they're going to do? They're going to do it times 10.
Stay right there for a second. Good. Absolutely. You make very, very valid point. Let me go to Ibrahim. Ibrahim, what's on your heart? And we got kicked off for a minute because everybody on the broadcast heard you, but everybody on the phone could not. So Ibrahim, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, you know, it gets back to freedom and responsibility. If you're more responsible for yourself, you have more freedom to make decisions, right? You don't have the freedom, the ultra freedom that we talk about, right? To do anything that you want, you know, because everything has consequences whether you like it or not. But you had the power to make your decisions. We talk about things like money. Money is intrinsic. I don't care what you classify money on, it's intrinsic. Power is in people. Number of people that you influence that follow you and listen to you and choose their decisions based on what you say or what you do or what the culture does, right? Like Rico was alluding to. And that's where we're at now, right? We are, you know, we waste our time, I believe, in things about the Jews, right? When the Jews are just like another part of the puzzle of capitalism or control. We're in competition with the Jews. We're in competition with the Spanish. We're in competition with everybody else because we don't see ourselves as a group of people. So my thing is, the only way you can identify these things is you take the opportunity to create them. A black businessman in my time thought about the people they represent. He looked for the people's needs and tried to exceed those needs, and the probability they could have got that in another culture. But we don't look at it like that. We say, because I got the black business, and because other people support their business, we do this. You go to some Spanish restaurant, you hardly ever see Spanish people in there, not even working there. A lot of places, some of the best Spanish places. But the people that own them are Spanish, right? Same thing with Chinese. And you see a lot of black people, you see a lot of white people, everybody else but Mexicans. Now, Mexicans, you go to their place, and you see a different thing. So what I'm saying to you is, brothers and sisters, that, that we ought to hold our leaders accountable. Just because they say some things that I didn't hear what Farrakhan said, but I heard what Russell Simmons was saying, and I called him out on that. I said, he's talking from the perspective of businessman. He has nothing to do with you black people. Kanye West has nothing to do with what they say about black people, about us as a group of people. He's not my leader. I don't worship him. I don't see anything that he's done for us as a group of people except represent us in a higher standard. You know what I'm saying? If we want to do something, then we have to dig deep within ourselves and understand these things and do what is necessary. You know what I mean? I cannot make money by Kanye West. I can probably invest in some of his products. Russell, I probably invest in some of their products, right? And then, like just like everybody do in the stock market, And I don't care if he's a billionaire. I mean, what can he do for me? What can he do for my family? You know what I mean? This is what's important to me. I think we should think more about that, rather than and hold them accountable for what they say. You know what I mean? I love brothers in the Nation of Islam. I have a lot of my thing that came up by some of the older brothers and stuff like that. But Farrakhan, I hate to say it, but I have mixed feelings about Farrakhan. Not that he's against black people, but at the same time, he said something about don't take the injection about millions of people die, millions of black people die. Don't take the thing about the Ebola virus. So he's not God, he's not a prophet. But what is he doing for me? What is he doing for my black community? What is he doing to progress us? Right?
See, hold on, brother. We got to keep this thing moving. But my thing is this right here. I think he's doing a great service to our community. I really, that's just me talking. I can only speak for my behalf. I think he's doing a great, and has been doing it for years. Has been doing it for many years. Let me go to Cap. Cap, what's on your heart?
Well, I want to explain it to me. Just name one thing.
Brother Ibrahim, let me say this. I sit here and I respect you, brother. You my elder. And I think sometimes, brother, you just don't know when you insult people. And maybe you don't know. But I took this as an insult when you talk about the minister. Now, you can have your personal views of the minister. That's your right. But it ain't about the minister. I wasn't making this about the minister. I'm with the minister. I follow the minister. Many people love the minister. Oh, you got your views. Everybody do. Everybody don't have to agree with the minister. But I think this was very untimely for you to even mention what you feel about the minister and his contribution to black people. And I apologize when I insult you, but you have a problem not apologizing when you insult other people. And I got to say that to you. So I think you need your personal views about the minister to yourself. All right? And this is not the platform for it. We weren't even talking about the minister. I shared with you something I said with my brother, Russell Simmons. I didn't have to share. I didn't have to tell you I just got off the phone. I did that. Now, if you made a mention about Russell and you agree that, okay. But I just think you just go overboard, brother. And sometimes you just need to just be quiet. All right?
No, sir. I'm not led by that.
Hold on, brother. Hold on, Ibrahim. Hold on, Ibrahim. Hold on. Ibrahim.
I don't insult you. Don't insult me, man. Be a man enough to say when you cross the line. If you feel that if you insult me, at least say, well, you know what, brother? If I did, I'm sorry, and leave it like that. I'm through. I ain't got no one to spare.
Okay, good deal. Cassandra, what's on? Cassandra?
Yeah. I this is what I mentioned. I believe it was yesterday about us knowing, boundaries. I don't care. We all do have our own opinion, but we should have boundaries on, don't cross certain lines. And that's just like when I said something about being a Christian last week. It's some boundaries you're not gonna cross with me, because me and you gonna have an issue. And I know you don't care. I know people don't care, but I'm gonna say something, because I have to stand up for what I believe. And Cap, I'm 150% behind you. We gotta learn boundaries, man. Don't say, it's some things you're not gonna say, and I'm not gonna come back at it. I don't care who you are. We got to do better.
Absolutely. Rico?
Well, I agree with you 100%, sister. And no, I don't have
because
Ibrahim,
hold on, brother.
I spoke my history.
Ibrahim, brother. See, I'm trying not to use my mute button on you, brother, but come on now.
Go ahead and let him finish. Go ahead and let him finish. Then I go after him.
Okay, go ahead, Ibrahim. What's on your heart?
No, I have nothing to be to apologize for. I hate that he felt that
Ibrahim,
he was attacked.
Ibrahim, let me say this. Let me say this. Ibrahim, let me say this to you. My thing is this right here, and I had to learn this in living. And as a matter of fact, my wife was a big part of teaching me this, as well as my mother. You can't tell anybody how they feel, brother. If this brother come to you and say that I feel insulted, you can't say I didn't insult you. He feel that way, and a compassionate person, a person that has compassion. Not saying that you don't have compassion, but a compassionate person would say that, brother, I apologize. It's obvious that you feel as though I insult you, I said something against you or something like that. A compassionate person would take that stance and say, look here, I've heard Captain say it many times, I didn't mean to. If I offended anybody, I didn't mean to. It wasn't intentional. I apologize. Ibrahim, truth of the matter, I've never heard you say that, brother. This is my fact. I believe what I believe. This is what I believe, and I'm gonna stand on what I believe. That's what I heard you say, brother.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate that. I had a discussion with somebody offline. I mean, on the phone of this group, right? And they said, "Well, why do you explain things and everything? Don't you understand that people feel? You know what? I am to put things in your mind. That, I don't worship any man. I worship the one God, right? Mm-hmm. And then that they said the same. They cut off John's head because he was talking about what he was giving. They tortured the Prophet Muhammad for years until he came up, because God raised him up. Mm-hmm. And he go on and on and on, right?
And so you were them.
Some things that have to be said in certain ways, right?
Wow.
And like I said, I didn't mean to offend him because I didn't attack him. You know what I mean? I didn't attack him personally. If it's a belief, right?
But brother, he felt. But my thing is this right here, brother. If he tell you that he feel attacked, you don't want to acknowledge that at all. He felt as though you say what you feel, but he also said what he feel. Uh-huh. And so you don't feel any responsibility of what you said to him at that particular time. None at all.
No, y'all cut me off. Y'all cut me off all the time.
Wow. Okay. Ibrahim, hold on. Stay right there, brother. Okay, that's fine. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? You muted, Rico. You muted.
Oh, I thought I took it off mute. Situations like that is when you if somebody tell you they took something you said a certain way, if you didn't mean it that way, then you try to find another way to word it. You don't have to just let it be known right off the top. Well, I don't apologize. I am not sorry. You know what I'm saying? Because evidently they took it that way. And I mean, I ain't telling Ibrahim how to do things, but this is just how you have a communication and cooperation between each other, to have an understanding. Because if you want to make sure you get your point across clearly and somebody misunderstood it, you said it wrong, maybe you are saying it wrong. Paul gave me a super compliment on these comments. And what I had to find out is that sometimes people take things the wrong way because they hear certain words and think you just coming off negative because you made a reference to it and they associate it like that. Then sometimes you really do say things the wrong way. So I rub people the wrong way sometimes with me being passionate. Sometimes I understand that I didn't express myself clearly and they took it the wrong way. And I can understand why they took it that way. And I have to go back and tell them what I meant, because I don't want them to take it that way. I want to make sure I get my point across. I want to make sure they understand what it is that's going on and that I'm trying to say, so you don't misconstrue or take it that I'm against something that I'm really for. Sometimes we could be on the same page, but not even get together to be on the same page because we didn't understand each other. You know, when that happened with Cassandra the other day, and we was mentioning that about the missionaries, we weren't talking about Christianity. We was talking about the low down devils that abused the goodness of Jesus and Christianity and missionary work to do what they did. And so we tried to clarify that, you know, we ain't coming at Christianity, so you don't have to defend Christianity. We're coming at those devils that manipulated the good word. And so, you know, it still has to have that understanding where you be able to, first off, you got to be able to want to listen and hear what's being said, but then be able to understand that, you know what, this is what I said, and I can understand how that came out. Maybe I did bring up some extra information that was unnecessary, and I put it in there because I was being extra. Because I didn't hear really an insult, but I did hear the extra unnecessary comments towards the minister that didn't have nothing to do with nothing. See, and that's the reason why we really can't get nothing accomplished, because we can't stay on the same page. We all really ready to throw in such extra little information that doesn't deal with the real issue. We was talking about consequences, and we was talking about the Jews in the industry, and then it went to being about the Muslim, but that wasn't the topic. See, subject and predicate and adjectives and adverbs and nouns and all that is important. If you don't understand what the topic is, then how you gonna fix the situation or even address what you how you gonna come on? You got to stay on topic. You just can't bring in extra tidbits just because that's something personal that you got against Farrakhan or whoever. But we tend to do that. We do tend to do that. We have to acknowledge that we do that. Sometimes we have to say, you know what? Yeah, that was extra on my part. Because we got steered away from, I mean, he did go completely away from what we was talking about, making his point, because he wanted to make a point about something that he felt that was pertaining to what was going on. Also about the fact about not being starstruck or whatever. I don't think none of us are.
Exactly.
You know, but sometimes I know when people make that point where they coming from. Guess what? We ain't starstruck neither. So you ain't dealing with no groupies on here. Believe me, I get a celebrity told in a heartbeat and walk past him like he ain't nothing. I walk past him like he stank.
Exactly.
So you ain't the only one. You don't have to prove that to everybody that you ain't starstruck. I don't think none of us are, but we do appreciate their accomplishments, even if they are under the control of investors, Jewish investors. Exactly. We still respect them.
Absolutely. Badger?
You know, I was sitting here listening to everything, and I always had this thought since I was little of my view. Well, to touch on what just happened, we were talking about sacrifice. What's wrong with sacrificing a little bit of pride to fix a to work on a conversation? I wouldn't think it's that hard.
That's good.
But I was sitting here, you know, with all the things that I've looked up, researched, and so on and so on. I wonder if the devil's just sitting somewhere on a beach, just drinking a pina colada because us humans have taken over his job.
Wow.
He introduced the greatest sin in the world called greed. Greed for knowledge, greed for money, greed for materials, and now he can't do anything because the human mind's taken over.
A pina colada.
Well, I was thinking of something, all right?
I got you.
It's an insane thought to think about.
Yeah.
Because if we take Satan out of the equation, we take, you know, all the things that have been done to us. To be honest, what we have is choice, freedom of will. And there are always going to be someone that's going to try to take it from us, or try to give us this illusion that we don't have it. You know, I was listening about the Jewish people and things like that, and I'm sitting here and I'm going, huh, I wonder why it's so hard for some of them to just make their own business. They got the money for it. Oh, wait. That means you have to acknowledge and be responsible for the fact that you have your own choices. Man, that's got to be so hard to acknowledge. This is my attempt at sarcasm. I apologize if no one gets it, because I know I'm getting monotone.
I knew where you was going. I knew exactly what you was doing.
And not to interrupt you, Badger, but also maybe you have the choice not to desire the little assets and trinkets that they dangle in front of you to come get for the trade, because it's a trade that you make. You making a choice to say, you know what, I think I want some of their money, and they say, well, you want some of our money. This is what you got to do. Tap dance.
Well, okay. I was sitting here, and as I was thinking about this, you know, I was sitting here wondering, there are so many YouTube videos and self-help videos out on the internet where people have sacrificed, we're at sacrifice again, that has sacrificed their time and knowledge to do their best to help others to work in this system. And yet, what have I heard today?
Wow.
Blame other people.
Good deal. We're gonna keep this thing going, man. We got it's a lot. It's a couple of topics I wanted to get to before I got sidetracked a little bit. But let me go to right now. Let me go to our Tucson. Tucson, what's on your heart? And we got Willow. Willow is here. We're gonna go to Willow as well. And I think we have Paul on the line as well. So we're gonna circle around that way. But Tucson, what's on your heart?
Oh, I might need to just listen. Because at some point you just learn. What's the topic? What are we talking about?
Actually, we was talking about sacrifices and stuff like that, and how to sacrifice for each other, and responsibility as well.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't mean any harm by what I say. I think I'm grateful for Hiawatha. Ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't even know if she's real. But there are people that pave the way for their people. And we reaping the benefits. There are some people that may not be, per se, let's just say Christian, but they stood for something. And now I have the freedom to do certain things that my forefathers wasn't able to. Grateful for them. Sure, Malcolm X. He wasn't a Martin Luther, but he stood for something. Maybe stood for something in a different way, but he did. That's the point. Nothing else. I don't know his personal life. I don't even try to search it out. I just appreciate him for what he did. I ain't trying to dig nothing. I'm not trying to do no more than that. We have to find our way to, regardless of our differences, make a stand so that we all can get there, one at a time or in a group. You never find a bunch of people and they're all the same, even if they're walking in the same direction.
Exactly. We are about to actually change the topic right now because I don't know whether I think Paul called in because he may wanted to say something in regards to that last topic. Paul, what's on your heart, brother? Good morning. How you doing this morning? Paul, you there?
I had to find the mute button. Finally. Yeah, I mean, well, okay, so it's like trying to tie it all together, like freedom. You know, like one question was, are we free? And then we saw that Kyrie and Kanye weren't exactly free. But like I said in my comment, it's like, you know, I don't think that maybe, you know, they weren't the best spokesman to bring up certain topics. Like the way Rico presented it, you know, it's like something that is really verifiable and relevant to people's lives, and and then it gets into, okay, well, that's offensive. Well, okay, but is it true though? So we have to be careful when we say, well, I'm offended, so I don't want to hear that idea, because that's why certain ideas are suppressed. So the fact that there's a subculture of Jewish people who are promoting these things that are harmful. Well, I mean, it's just a fact. Some people say, all right, Paul, that's it. You're canceled, dude. You anti-Semite, you got to go in the corner now. No, I'm not, we just have to keep it real, but we have to be respectful about it. So I would say, are we free? Yeah, we are. There is accountability. There are consequences. As Cassandra said, yeah, your boss may hear about it. Your friends may hear about it. Somebody on social media may be like, oh, I got the goods on you now, and try to take you down. I don't know. I feel like offensive speech needs to be heard. I feel like, just my 2 cents, I feel like Ibrahim's comment, I liked it. I liked a lot of it. I think his main point was, I don't worship a man. And that's to me, that's such an important point. I don't hear that enough, because I think Minister Farrakhan has many wonderful things he says. But you have to take each person as an individual. We all say things that are wrong occasionally. So I think that was his only point, is that let's humanize people, and let's look at what they think about critically, and not just go, I agree with him.
A lot of times when you give a child medicine, when you give a child medication, as a child, they can't take the medication unless you add something to that medication to make it easier for them for their taste buds. And sometimes you have to be real careful of how you say things, because regardless of what your intentions were, you can't tell a person how to receive what you put out there. You can't tell a person how to receive. And so sometimes you might need to sweeten it up or soften it up a little bit, but just to come at somebody's throat and try to cut their throat out with what you feel is your facts, that may not be their facts. There may not be the world that they're living in. And so you have to be real mindful of what you're doing, how you're doing, and the way that you present it. Bill Cosby had this thing on his show, and a lot of people don't like Cosby, but I still love the Cosby Show. Where Vanessa presented Dagnus to the family because they were engaged. They'd been engaged for 6 months. And Bill said to him, while they were sitting around the table, he said, man, I don't like you. Him and Claire, don't like you. Not because of who you are, but the way that you was brought here, the way that you was presented to us. And he made the analogy about the steak dinner and stuff like that, and what kind of steak he like and all those different things. He said, okay, now I'm going to give you exactly what you want. I'm going to take the trash can lid, dirty trash can lid, turn it over and put your food on here, and I'm going to give it to you. Dad was like, nah, man, hold on. He said, yeah, that's the presentation. So sometimes we need to be a little more mindful of our presentations and how we present things.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, brother. Did you have something else to say, Paul? I wanted you to finish your thought.
No. I mean, yeah, I agree with you very much. But I mean, everyone has a different standard. I didn't find his presentation particularly offensive, but that's just me. So everyone's different. I don't know.
Okay.
We all have a different level of comfort on different things. So
exactly,
as long as we are willing to just say, as long as we're willing to say, like, I'm coming at you with honest intentions, good faith. I don't mean harm. I just, like that understanding.
Okay, but still, when you cut somebody to throw it out, man, and they lay there on the floor dead, they're still dead, regardless of what your intentions. At the end of the day, they still dead. Willow!
Raheem, what's up?
Good morning. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
I am awesome. Good morning, Glow.
Good morning, sis. What's on your heart right now? We're going to switch this topic up a little bit, but what's on your heart right now?
All I got to say is well said. Sometimes our intention is not always delivered in the right process, because I think it was Tucson said it right. You can have all the same people that's all alike in the same room, and we'll still find something wrong with each other. So, well said, well said, well said. So go on to your next topic, Raheem.
I'm gonna start the next topic off with you, Willa. Hold on.
Willa, come on,
Willa. Now,
come on, Raheem, let's go.
I want to ask you this. I want to ask you this question. I really want us to delve into this thing just a little bit, man, and deal with it from then and modern day time as well.
Okay.
The prodigal son. He lived in a king's house, had everything he could imagine, but he wanted to leave the king's house. Went out into the world and got caught up in the world and had to deal with worldly things to the point where he came back. He had to come back home, man. He said, I'd rather if I could just come in as a servant. As a servant, I'll just come in as a servant. I clean that. I do it. Just let me be a servant, but let me come back because of the conditions outside of the house. My question is, why did the prodigal son leave?
Because first of all, he was impatient about his inheritance. He wanted to get his money right now, right then. There was two sons, and he was different than the other son. The other son was pleasing and wasn't too worldly, but this son was. So he wanted to get out into the world and experience the world that he had in his mindset that he wanted to live in. But he got a reality check.
He started smelling himself.
Went into that world. He found out that the way he thought the living was the partying and all that he felt was so extravagant. And once he got to his lowest low, he found the reality of what it was. How as long as you got something, people gonna be on your side. But when you find out that you ain't got nothing, you by yourself. So he found out the reality. He went into a world of falsehood, of thinking things were this way, and he found out that it wasn't really so. He found out the reality of what life was all about. He even almost had to compromise the things that he believed in spiritually. That was a great lesson for someone who has an open mind. See, I wish that people would think that way, that they could say, I'm wrong. Let me change something about me. But sometimes, Raheem, that's why they got that word called stubbornness, pride out there. Because there are some people who are like that, Raheem. And it's not too much that you could do about it until they get a reality check. And I hope I answered what you was trying to put out there, Raheem.
Absolutely. Now, modern day time. Are there a lot of prodigal sons in this modern day time?
For sure. You didn't think so? They think that the word is just full of glamour and power, and they want to be an athlete or they want to be a rapper. That's what they think the world is all about. The dollar, the almighty dollar. I need it. I kill for it. I steal for it. I kill my mama for it. And they're thinking that way because that's the direction of a lot of the young people nowadays. We got jobs out there, but that job ain't paying me enough money that the dope man gonna pay me. They paying you $15 an hour when they can make $200 or $300 a day. So are we living in that kind of world until they get a reality check? They get caught, they go to jail, or somebody wind up dead. And guess what, Raheem? Some of them still don't get their reality check. Yeah, we are living in that modern day time. Prodigal son.
Absolutely.
And daughters.
And daughters. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Toussaint, same question, brother. If the prodigal son, if while he was in the king's house, while he was in his father's house, he had everything. Everything was there. He had it all, man. Treated royally. Why did the prodigal son leave, Toussaint? Come on, Toussaint. What you doing,
That's
man?
just me. I'm just saying that if you are already, no matter how comfortable, how good you got it, greed and pride and arrogance and self-will will always get in the way. The lust of the eye, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. You ungrateful, don't even have enough in you. You can't see it now. But all you want is yours, and you want it right now. Can't wait till your father even died. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, there's an order.
But it's all about you. And I want it now. It's good. It shows really. And I'd say something. Let me say something about that. The boy that left was better off than the boy that stayed. That's the one that had the problem.
Explain that to me. You said the one that. Go ahead. Explain that to me.
You didn't see his problem until his brother came back. Because he say your son. He didn't say my brother.
Yeah.
He said your son that squandered up all your money on harlots. And you didn't even give me a kid. You selfish, ungrateful.
Come on.
You're the one. But I'm saying he left because he wanted to try something else. Because he probably knew it was out there. But he knew that he needed some money, some substance to take with him. He knew it. So yes, he knew where to get it from. Check with Dad. Oh, Dad gonna give it to me. And the dad let him go out there. Here you go. Matter of fact, he'll both of you. Y'all both take it. Give it to him. Divide both of them. But if you look at the story, I'm wondering who had the worst attitude. The one that went out or the one that stayed?
Wow. Cap, what's on your heart? We talking about the prodigal son. If he had everything that he wanted, everything royalty in his father's house, why did he leave?
Let me do something before I get to that, because I really want to take this moment to apologize to my Morning Glow family for me kind of, I don't see getting out of character, but I did take offense to it. I'm sorry that some of you didn't see, but we know there's a very subtle dig that y'all may not know about with us Muslims. And you didn't see the subtle dig. We don't worship Minister Farrakhan. I want to make that perfectly clear. I do not worship Minister Farrakhan. We don't worship celebrities. I thought that was a subtle dig. We worship no God, but worship nobody but God. I want to make that clear.
Yes, sir.
Some people take love for worship. Because you love someone, that don't mean you worship them. I love Minister Farrakhan. I've been with him for 45 years. And I don't mind disagreeing with some of his aspects. Like what Paul said, everybody's not going to agree with the minister. I mean, that's just human nature. You got the right. I have no problem. But it was not about Minister Farrakhan. That was the whole purpose. I thought it was a personal attack to me from this brother who's been subtly throwing digs at me. Now, this is me. I could be a little paranoid. Y'all may not, but I know his history in terms of how he feels as a Muslim about the nation. And he's Muslim, we're Muslim. We're not in agreement with a lot of things about Islam. But nevertheless, I want to apologize to my Morning Glow.
Yes, sir.
And I appreciate, Rico, what you said. And I think everybody knows that when somebody says, I've offended you, then I'll quickly say, well, I didn't mean to offend you. Forgive me and accept my apology. That was not my motive. I think that's being mature. That's all that is. He's my elder, and I really had to bite my tongue because he's still my elder. And I could have said some very nasty things, but I'm still respectful to the fact he's my elder.
Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
I just want to thank you. Now, as far as the prodigal son, I think that.
But let me say this before you go on, brother. I agree with you 100% because I love the minister as well, brother. That's just me. But go ahead.
I just think on the prodigal son, I think Wilma, she really hit out. I can't add no more to it. I think that the prodigal son is a very important piece in the scripture, in the Bible. I think, for him to have to leave what he had that was nice. I think all of our children and family members or people we know, they seem to have to go out there and hit rock bottom in order to appreciate what they have.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you don't appreciate what someone else struggle got you with your. You have children that lives off of the work that we done. And you can give them a fine home and put them in, and they don't appreciate it because they didn't go out there and bust it behind and get it.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes they take out of the fact they leave it until they go out there and see the reality. And then when they see the reality, that's when they get to begin to say, man, I just rather be a doormat. I just whatever, just to get back in the house.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think she in it, and I think the prodigal son is something we all live. We all have fell out of grace with God and want to get back home.
Yes.
And then the other son got upset because he said, why would you kill a fatted calf for him? I've always been with you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the father said, why would you not be upset if a man loses sheep and he had and one of the sheep leave?
Mm-hmm.
Would not the shepherd celebrate that he found that one out of the 99?
Mm-hmm.
So I think we celebrate when somebody come back home to God.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something we all have to learn, that we have family members, we know people to get away from the righteous living of what they've been taught. Whether you were taught as a Christian or whether you're taught as a Muslim,
Mm-hmm.
they get away from that. And they begin to live a righteous life.
Mm-hmm.
But when they come back home, shouldn't it be a celebration?
Absolutely.
Instead of saying, see, now look at you. I knew you were going to come back. Now look at you.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't we celebrate?
Exactly.
That's all I got to say about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We got someone from the 252 area code. 252 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Cheryl Cook. Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Cook. How you doing?
I'm well.
Good. We're talking.
Glad to be on. Glad to be on with the family.
Yeah.
In a minute.
Hey, good to have you back. Absolutely good to have you back. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And we talking this morning about the prodigal son. And the prodigal son, he had everything in his father's house. Everything. Royalty. Why did he leave?
I believe the prodigal son wanted to venture out and explore. He wanted to be someone that he didn't know that he can be.
Mm-hmm.
He thought that there were a lot of other things out there for him, and he saw that there wasn't much out there after he got out there. A lot of people leave home to explore things, and they come back and they see that they shouldn't have left.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to learn what is out there that's not for them, some children need to do that in order to basically see what they are missing. And he saw that he needed to come back home because there was nothing out there for him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good.
Sometimes it's the wrong thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he realized that was the wrong thing to do. So he came back home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what I learned from that item, that book. But he basically left with the riches, and he thought those riches was everything for him.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to understand that God is not a materialistic God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He has everything. He has everything there for you. You need to learn and basically follow Him.
Yes. Yes.
A lot of people basically think about materialistic things.
Mm-hmm.
Materialistic things are not going to get you into heaven.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Some of the children need to learn that.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. That's
they
good.
Need to learn the hard way.
Absolutely. 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 Leonard, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem and the Morning Glow family.
Hey, good to have you this morning, sir. And by way of the story and the way the story is told, why do you think the prodigal son left? And what was his whole motivation?
Ibrahim. Well, I think one of the reasons why the prodigal son left is because he wanted to be dominant.
Mm-hmm.
And because reading the story, his father lived a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And even the story talks about when the father would go to visit the children as well to make sure that they were keeping their sacrifices and honoring God,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because he would pray for them in
Mm-hmm.
case they weren't.
Mm-hmm.
So that lets me believe that, like, when you living in your mom and them house, you got rules and things like that, things you can and cannot do.
Yes.
And this particular son wanted to leave that and for more freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And the best thing about it is, one, he knew he had that inheritance because that was a part of their culture. So he asked for it, and his father was kind enough to allow him to do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And so that could be why he left, if he wanted to be his own man.
So Leonard, what I'm hearing you say,
Dominion over him.
what I'm hearing you say, Leonard, is the father could have said, no, you stay your behind right here.
Right, or he could have just left.
Mm-hmm.
However, he wanted his inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
so the father gave it to him. It's like a life lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you notice, the other son was a lot more prudent about things.
Mm-hmm.
He probably followed the rules and didn't have a problem with the rules and getting into the family business and following in his father's footsteps. The other son wasn't like that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Wow.
He
Wow.
wanted to go his own way, his own thing on his own terms.
One of the Sewell's Wild Oats.
And so that's why I believe he left.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, the story, I think, really is about the father.
Mm-hmm.
And how the father accepted him back despite that.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. That's good.
And that's why I don't think he had a problem giving it to him, because the father had plenty.
Mm-hmm.
He had plenty.
Mm-hmm.
He was a man of wealth and a man of means, which means he had accomplished something.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
it's not what his son wanted, and his son thought he'd go do something else.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's good. That's good. Let me go to and Badge, I saw you, brother. I'm coming to you. Cassandra.
Ibrahim.
Cassandra.
Yeah, I'm here.
What do you think the mindset was? What do you think the mindset of the prodigal son was?
Well, he wanted to go to Magic City at least 2-3 nights a week. The dad was not okay with him going to hang out at Magic City. And then he wanted to go and hang out on Fulton Industrial. That was not a part of the father. You know, he just wanted to, like everybody said, he wanted to test life on his terms instead of on his father's terms. And his father did good because he gave him his money. Go ahead, go and do your thing, bruh. Go on out there. And once them girls done took all your money at Magic City because you making it rain, he was making it rain. Did I say that part?
Yeah.
He was making it rain at Magic City. And so I'm just, it's what a lot. I mean, I think most of us may have done that to a degree. I can say I did. You know, I was out there doing my own thing at 16. I had my first apartment at 16. So, I thought I was grown, and boy, when them bills started coming in, and Lord, I was working 2 jobs and still couldn't make ends meet. Then I realized, how good I had it at home. But I think he just wanted to live life on his terms and not on the way that his father had raised him. But the Bible says, train them up in the way that they should go. And when they're older, they won't depart from it. It don't mean they won't go away, but guess what's going to happen? At some point, they end up coming back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
You know, the whole prodigal son story was one that I kind of see everywhere. Because if we are Great Spirit's children, there's a whole bunch of them. And how do we go about, and I view like a portion of the human race is the prodigal son or daughter. The other is the elder brother or sister. that is more judgmental and things of that nature than open arms.
Mm-hmm.
And a very, very small portion are like the Father.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's a sad reality of the world we live in right now.
Mm-hmm.
So to
Absolutely.
me, when I see a story like that, I always sit back and I look at, and I work hard to look at the whole picture of society and how can this story be, not just implemented personally, but viewed as a whole. And there's a lot of things when we, with topics like this, that never gets acknowledged. Um, that is so vital to the story that
Mm-hmm.
it gets overlooked a majority of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though that child went and did a lot of things that would be considered a sin, there was forgiveness. There was acceptance of people have different roads that they
Mm-hmm.
walk down.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no judgment. It was a celebration of the person found their way back to the light.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
So, and to me, that's also plays a role in the solutions that we need in society.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's a good deal. Good deal. Let's keep this thing going. Ibrahim, talking about the prodigal son. Ibrahim, why did you think the prodigal son living in the king's house, living in royalty? Why did he leave?
Well, that's the problem I have, and I don't know how to phrase this, but that is an analogy.
Mm-hmm.
The prodigal son is an analogy. It had nothing to do with. It was a story that people could understand, could explain to people what that meant, and we was talking about Judea separating from Israel, right? Isaiah 30, 1 through 5. Isaiah says, God is pleased with Judah, and they are stubborn children. 31, who set out to Egypt without asking for my direction. 32, they do this in order to take refuge with protection of Pharaoh. And I go on and on, right? But what I'm saying is that's how things get started that bloom up into something that could be offensive to somebody, right? Because they have put their whole life into something. You know what I mean? Like when I say certain things, right? I'll offend everybody if I'm just simply
Ibrahim,
telling
let's stay on topic, brother. Let's stay on topic with the prodigal son because we only got a few more minutes. Let's stay on topic with the prodigal son.
Well, it's an analogy about turning away from direction of God or the laws of a particular culture or tribe, and then returning back to it. There's celebration returning back to it. That's what actually the actual fact of the matter is. You know what I mean? So if I was to say prodigal son, is that it's necessary that the son was wrong or bad, that it's direction to show us that when we stray away from the mainstream, and then we're brought back in, we should be celebrated when we come to agreement or celebration with the group, right? And that we should be exonerated. We could be exonerated. But if we stay and move away, right, the problem that it would cause for the tribe or the whole group. All right.
Good deal. Good deal. Let me go to Goddess. Goddess, why do you think now? Tell me what you think, Goddess. Why did that prodigal? Why did he even leave? He living in royalty. Everything you need. He is royalty. He's his son's child. Goddess, why did he leave?
I believe because he started seeing people not paying attention to the universal laws. Can't have religion. You can't have anything unless nothing exists other than universal laws. When you desecrate what he made for us to live, when we desecrate ourselves by looking at like financial wealth and other stuff, and we take that over and kill our brothers, our sisters, our community. I think that might be one of the key things. Our universal laws are key. We can't live without water. We can't live without food. and the foods that we eat, he's given us the fact of how to heal ourselves with the right medicine and eat the right foods. And, you know, we wouldn't have diabetes if we were eating the right foods. But we started desecrating our own bodies, our temples, which is our bodies.
Wow. Wow. Let me do something. Anybody else have anything else they want to say before we get move on to another topic? Okay, good. I want to be silly if I can. We got 12 minutes. We got 12 minutes, so I want to be a little silly. Can I be silly, y'all? Nobody said. Nobody didn't say nothing.
I guess.
Okay.
Hey, before you go there, let me ask a question, man, because you know I don't really know the story of the prodigal son, but would that sort of equate to like the oldest child syndrome? You know how the oldest child is always the one that's the most stubborn and the one that goes out and even the second child is not only taken from the parent, but they learning from the oldest child's mistakes too and knowing what not to do. Because that oldest child, they pretty much an experiment with that parent being the first child too. It's like an experiment on both ends.
Exactly.
Second child has a better chance at getting better guidance, and at the same time, they could get a better example from the parent and also look at the older brother and say, okay, I know for sure now not to do this and that. You get what I'm saying? So
you got a beating for doing it. I certainly ain't gonna do it. You got a beating when you did.
Reason why I said, I don't know the story, but just from listening to people and listening, I'm like, well, you know what? That sort of sound like an oldest child syndrome. You know, and because I can relate to seeing my brothers benefit so much from not only my brothers, but my younger cousins that come to me and tell me how much they benefited from my guidance. But I'm like, man, y'all just don't know what I went through. I didn't have that. You know, I had to learn the hard way. So I'm wondering, is that what it sort of relates to?
Yeah. And Paul said the first child, and what he said, let me read this thing. The first kid is the practice kid. And that was
it is.
Exactly. But yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it. And they say a lot of times you have like 4 kids, something like that. The middle, a lot of time the middle child, say if you got 3 kids, a lot of time the middle child is the negotiator, the one that, you know, kind of want to keep the peace all the time. You got this end, that end, then you have the middle child. And so it's kind of great. Yes.
Let your listeners know that the story is in Luke 15.
Luke 15. Okay. That story of the prodigal child is Luke 15. Y'all go look it up, read it and study it. And I might give y'all the test next week on it. We might have a test on that. So Leonard, you make sure you remember Luke 15. We might test.
Isaiah 30.
Huh?
30. Isaiah 30. Judea had a war with Israel and sided with the Pharaoh and went with Pharaoh for their protection and their benefit. And you know, if you're gonna read the Old Testament, I was reading in its literal form. Well, all of it is a story anyway, but you might as well read the basis of it before you get into the analogy.
Ibrahim, let me ask you a question. And I love what you did there, but let me ask you a question. Ibrahim, have you ever been a teacher, brother?
No, not professionally, but I you know, teach one with one knows, right?
There you go. There you go. Good deal. I want to be silly for a second, and we got 9 minutes. I'm gonna be silly for a minute. I'm gonna ask y'all the question. It's totally off topic. Totally ain't got nothing to do with what we talked about today. Nothing to do with nothing we talked about. Rico, I'm coming to you first. Rico.
Yo.
You are the you at a party. You at a party, and the party's dead, man. The party's dead. Totally, there ain't nothing going on. People standing in the corner, you know, and the DJ come to you. He said, man, what song could I play right now to pump this party up? To get this party started? What song could I play right now to get this party started? Rico, what song would you tell me?
I'm trying to think who made that song, It Takes Two to Make Things Go Right.
Rob Bass.
That. That one. If you want to get them on the dance floor and get them, you know what I'm saying, and want to shake a little, wiggle a little bit, you know what I'm saying, and move.
What you wiggling for, man? What you wiggling for?
That's what you do. You shake and wiggle, you know. And so if that's what they wanted, if you really wanted to get the crowd out on the floor, that one that will do it. You know what I'm saying? Now, it depends on the age group you in, but yeah, that'll do it.
Okay, now I know the answer to this question. I'm about to ask Cassandra, but I think I know the answer to that question. Cassandra, what song could a person play? The DJ, the party's dead, Cassandra, and then he come to you. Hey, Cassandra, what can I play to pick this party up, what song would it be, Cassandra?
Just Fine by Mary J. Blige.
I knew it. I knew the answer to that question. Look here. When I was DJing for Cassandra's party, she said, "Look here, you got to play this song here now. Got to play this song here. Let me know when you're gonna play it, because I'm getting on the floor." And Lord, she got on the floor and ain't sit down since. But Captain, you there?
Yes, sir.
Now,
yes, sir.
Captain, the party's dead, man. The party ain't nothing going on, man. Crickets. And the DJ come up to you, Cap, man, what song can I play, man? This man, I need some help. What song can I play to pump this party up? What song would it be, Cap?
Man, my man Rico, you cold-blooded Rico. You just stole my daggone answer. But nevertheless, I got a second one, Rico. I got a second one on you. Excuse me while I clear my throat.
Uh-oh. There you go. Badger, what song would they have to play? What song they got to play at this party to pump it up?
Hold on. You said there's a party. What kind of party?
Yeah, it's a party, man. It's a party. You don't complicate it. It's a party. People gather around. They want to have a good time. They want to dance and have a good time. But the party's dead. The DJ need to come to you. He need to ask you what song could he play to get everybody on the dance floor.
Huh.
Come on, Badger.
Well, I'm trying to think because I don't do parties.
When we come back to you.
Powwow music, man.
Okay.
That's if I go to any party, it'd probably be something like that.
Got you. Watch this. Willa!
Yeah, you ready? You ready, Ryan?
I'm scared. I'm really scared because I don't know what you're gonna say.
You ready?
What is it? Let me hear you.
How about this one? Just got paid Friday night. Come on.
Friday night.
Just got paid.
Come on. That's a good one. Just got paid.
Another Saturday night, and I ain't got no.
Oh Lord, who that singing? Who that? Oh Lord, Lord Jesus. Where my mute button? Ibrahim done start another concert on us. Ibrahim done start another concert. Now look here, I'm scared with this answer too. I don't know what I'm about to get, but look at here. Goddess.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what song I'm about to get, but I gotta ask you, Goddess. The party's dead. Y'all, you in Kansas City, man. The dance floor is full, but the party the dance floor is empty, but the party's full. Ain't nobody dancing. Ain't nobody doing that. DJ sitting there scratching his head. He come over to you. He said, Goddess, what song can I play, man? They're not responding. What song could I play to pump this party up? What you say?
I don't know. We're the two-step capital, so you would have to play something, a good old two-step song. We're two-step capital.
Mm-hmm.
Some Lakeside, some. I couldn't even tell you so many good songs out there.
You say
we're a two-step capital. You have to just play something that's two-step, and everybody coming up off the floor. They coming all onto the floor. Now, so we're two-step capital.
Now you say you say Lakeside, so you're talking something like Fantastic Voyage or something like that?
Nah, I just said Lakeside, but it could be any kind of good two-step song.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I said Lakeside because I don't know. I think I was talking about party something, but
okay.
Some good old school music from back in the day. They had Slave. They had. I don't think y'all know about all that good old school. I just know the songs when I hear them.
There you go.
I don't know all the brand name, the names of them, but yeah. And I remember the Dramatics. I remember all that. All those good old ones that talked about real love and
Raheem done froze up, man. So I gotta carry this thing on for a second till the phone line get back up. But I know I got a feeling somebody gonna come up and say Atomic Dog. If they don't say Atomic Dog, then they can't. I'm like Joe Biden. You ain't black if you don't say Atomic Dog. You got to say Atomic Dog and let me see. It might be Word Up by Cameo. Man, it's quite a few of them that could get the party started. You know what I'm saying? A good DJ, he'll get the party started with the right song right off the top. But sometimes you get in a situation where people are a little bit too bougie. You don't know what song to play. But I think that Atomic Dog, depending on your genre, I think Achy Breaky Heart still, you know what I'm saying, gets a lot of play. I don't know. I ain't never really been to a bunch of country parties. But I think Achy Breaky Heart might still, you know, be one of the big things that gets the people on the dance floor in the country genre. But yeah, if you start talking about R&B, you got all kind of Chris Brown and Usher songs and Mary J. Blige songs, man. I mean, you got some real R&B anthems. But yeah, I like the idea of that Atomic Dog. I'm sort of anxious to see, you know, after we get back on, how many people may say Atomic Dog. If anybody does say Atomic Dog, you know, somebody said Quad City DJs come on to ride that train. Oh my goodness, Paul, you tripping? I hope don't nobody say Cardi B song. I don't know, but yeah, I think Achy Breaky Heart, man. It's always good to have 4 or 5 good songs. You know, whether you're dealing in country or whether you're dealing in R&B or hip hop. It's always good to have 5 different good songs from 5 different eras that you can use to.
I missed it.
Started.
They said,
Yeah, you missed it.
Hey, Rico said, God is saying, when I got kicked out, I missed it, man. A lot of good songs came up. I got it. Y'all catch me up to speed. What songs were there?
I'm gonna give somebody else an opportunity to mention some of them. I don't want to give them all up, but I'll let y'all go.
Oh, okay. What songs did I miss?
No. We were talking. It was like Wildflower and Sarah Smile. They got on the dance floor. It might have been for the wrong reasons, but they was up there.
She picked the wildest time.
Well,
you
when
could
we put
imagine.
Black in person, Black Love was in, and Black in Marriage, and all that. Oh, that's what we talking about. Yeah. Oh, Lord.
And look here, we got what's that song? Let me see. We go back on the screen. I thought I had lost it. Okay, let's go. What's that song? Paul said, "Man, my chat done gone away." What song did he say? You muted, brother. You muted. You muted.
Hey, come on to ride that train. Let's ride that. He on that Luke Skywalker stuff, man. I'm mentioning Atomic Dog though. I think Atomic Dog and Word Up, you know what I'm saying, is always one to get people on the floor. Oh, and if you really want to go back, Heard It Through the Grapevine, the one with Roger.
What about Apache? What you say?
Flashlight.
Yes, there you go. Flashlight. Yeah, exactly.
Flashlight.
Leonard.
Flashlight.
Oh Lord. Hey, Leonard. Leonard, you there? I think we might have lost Leonard there. Okay. Yeah, we might have lost Leonard. But man, what about watch this. Y'all might not agree with this at all. What about Apache? Sugar Hill Gang, Apache. Y'all know Apache?
I love Sugar Hill.
Yeah, Apache. God, man, it won't come to right there. But y'all gotta know Apache, man. Y'all gotta know. I should pull it up and play it real quick, but I ain't gonna do it because we gotta get on out of here. But there's a lot of songs, man. Did I miss anybody?
You could put Planet Rock. Planet Rock will do it, man. You know, there's always a one that'll get people want to shake a little bit to that Planet Rock. Make them think they want to pop lock until they start hurting a little bit. Their little waves start looking like just a flop. You know?
Hey, I miss Monique. Monique, what song you got, Monique?
Well, I'll say this. From the times that I DJ, Treat Her Like a Lady, and Encore, you know, She's a Bad Mamma Jamma. Those songs usually get people, especially women, on the dance floor.
Yep.
What about doing the button? Ow, sexy. Y'all don't like that one, huh? Y'all don't like that. Y'all don't know about that. So
Yeah,
y'all.
I like that. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Who said they like that? Goddess.
Goddess, yeah. Goddess said she liked that one. Mm-hmm. Now,
I
what
thought
about
somebody was gonna say Sir Mills a lot.
Exactly. Now, what about is there any stepping song? What's some good stepping songs?
Oh, that's Carmichael.
Mm-hmm.
Felony Special.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
R. Kelly, Step in the Name of Love.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. It's a lot. It's a lot of songs, man, and everybody know like the slide song, the Chock slide, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Play that. Yeah. They're gonna get on. They're gonna
shuffle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Once you play about 2 or 3 of them back to back, boy, and then just roll it out from there. You know, it's gonna the party gonna keep going.
Now them songs universal. You can play them in country music venues. I don't care where you at. You're gonna have white people and black people. You are trying to do
it. Man, look at them be stepping on top of each other and all kind of mess, boy. I
don't see some hilarious video, man. They think they be getting it too, but I say, look at them, bless their little heart. They be trying to cha-cha.
Exactly. What are y'all doing? Man, we doing it. Cha-cha.
I'm like, stick to the ache and break your heart, man. Just stick to the ache and break your heart.
Exactly. Don't do it. But listen, man, it's been a great broadcast. Rico, what's going on at 3:00 today?
If you missed today's broadcast and would like to hear us see the rebroadcast in its entirety,
there you
tune
go.
in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Good deal. Boy, I got y'all. I know y'all going to go. Y'all going to get off this thing, man, and go listen to some music now. Y'all about to go get the party started. Boy, y'all all be shaming yourself. Y'all all be shaming yourself. Now, Willa,
it is Friday too.
Exactly.
Just got paid.
Exactly. Now, Willa, before you go and get that party started, we need you to pray us out. So let me ask, Willa.
Come on, Raheem.
Now,
let's go, Raheem.
Now you know it's Friday, so you got to pray us and you got to make it till Monday morning. So, are you ready?
Well, I'm gonna receive the word from the Holy Spirit, Raheem. So whatever He does, it is what it is. Yeah. Are you ready, Raheem?
You know what, Willa? I'm only gonna say one more thing. Let's go.
Let's go, Raheem. Let's go to the throne of grace this morning, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Father, we thank you so much for waking us up this morning. Father, we just got to thank you on our tongues, Lord. Father, we had 10,000 tongues. Lord, we couldn't thank you enough. I thank you, Lord, for what you do in our lives, even though the enemy tries to show us something different. Father, I'm asking you to tear back the linings of brokenness to your children, love, with your children, Lord. Father, we need you. Touch those who are mourning the loss of their loved ones, Lord. Father, you said that you sent your word to heal us, oh Lord. And Father, we're standing on your word. We trust you, Lord, and we trust no man. Father, we thank you for all that you do and all that you're going to do, Lord. Father, I'm asking you to touch each and every last one on this line, oh Lord. Father, whatever they are going through, Father, you know. You are omnipresent, God. And Father, we're praying out to you today. Thank you for the power of the Holy Spirit that you allow to indwell in each and every last one. We thank you, Lord. Father, we know that it's not anything that we do, but we know it's the power that you allow to dwell within us. Father, thank you for the angels of protection around our families, Lord. Touch those who need you in a mighty way. We love you, Lord. We praise you. We honor you, oh Lord. Touch Raheem and the DKM morning show, Lord. Morning glow. Father, keep them in a success where your message will go forth and not ours. We love you, Lord. We honor you, glorify you, and praise you in Jesus' name. Amen, amen, and amen. Give the Lord the praise this morning.
Yes, Lord.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yes. It's been a great broadcast, y'all. Been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining this morning. Then I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your day. It is now 10:08. It's now 10:08. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we are certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other. And please, please, please be blessed. See you next week, Monday morning. God say the same. Have a great weekend. Be safe and love each other. Take care.